My name is David Kirsh. I'm in the Department of Cognitive Science. I'm teaching a graduate class in designing interactivity, which will build little controlled devices, perhaps musical instruments or other kinds of interactive things, maybe cloth and digital clothing. I'm teaching a class called Cognitive Design. That's on how to design artifacts that are usually digitally enhanced in some way. For instance, we could have a coffee cup like this that would tell us the colors. The colors would reflect the heat of the cup, perhaps. And we go through the process of how to think about design and the opportunities that there are for design. For instance, the iPod was a great exploitation of an opportunity that people wanted music with them all the time in a really convenient manner that was easy to use. I'm also teaching a follow-on course of something I did recently on dance cognition, creative cognition of dance. And we're going to be building, both doing scientific analysis of the creative process in dance, and also we'll be building interactive installations which will then be put in the British Museum of Natural History in June, and later in October we'll have some more installations at Sadler's Wells Theatre in London. My passion in science is, among other things, in understanding how people are closely coupled to the world, including artifacts, which we are engaging with almost all the time. And so in trying to understand interactivity, over the years I became more and more the cognitive basis for interactivity and what it gives us, why we're smarter because we interact. My interest took me more into the design issues and how to design interactive environments. The sixth being a college of keenly appreciating both the role and the interpenetration of art and science and digital things. That seemed like a natural place to be. Freshman students, I would say that the 21st century is not going to be like the 20th century. And therefore, the things that are most important in the 21st century are not always clear at the beginning of the century. I anticipate massive change owing to technology. I think by the end of the century, buildings will have biological skins and probably be made out of things that grow as structures. So it's hard to know where best to position yourself to take advantage of all the interesting things that are going to come up. So coming to college then, I think it might be wise to look around and see what it is that UCSD offers in the many different departments. I'm in a cognitive science department. I was originally trained as a philosopher. Originally that's an economist. My PhD, my doctorate was in philosophy, foundations of cognitive science. I then went and did a postdoc, and then my first research position, faculty, was in artificial intelligence at MIT. And then when they started the cognitive science department here, I joined a cognitive science department. So there's a lot of multidisciplinary activity, and it's the old conceptions of what a subject is, I think, are a little archaic. They're from the 19th century, from Germany. When you're first starting, it can be a little daunting, although the thing that's daunting is entirely from your side. It's not from the professor's side. We're delighted to see students. I have lots of students there. In fact, I use this lab as my office. You might just look around for a second to see this is, I have an office. When I was the chair of the department, I had another office, and I never use those places. I always use the lab. So I like to be with students, and other faculty often do too. You should go and just ask questions or ask to hang around to talk to the other students there. If there is a laboratory, some labs are quite layered. They're tiered. So the older students mentor the younger students, and that's at every level, all the way to the doctoral students, who are often mentored in part by postdoctoral students. So you get a lot from not just the professor, but from asking all the other students. And sooner or later then, it becomes completely natural when one of us is hanging around to just ask questions or be there when other questions are asked. Well, it would surprise my students to know that when I was their age, I walked barefoot in India for almost a year. That would probably, and I was, so I had the opportunity to travel overland from England to India in a Land Rover, and I fixed the Land Rover, and we had lots of adventures, so many adventures. So that was wonderful travel, and then in India I wandered around quite a bit for that time. So that would probably not be something they would guess. Artist in Residence program is, first of all, it's a great thing if it works out, and this being the first one, it certainly did work out. Wayne McGregor is one of the best choreographers in the world. He's only 39 and he's already the choreographer in residence of the Royal Ballet and Royal Opera in Covent Garden in London, which of course is one of the premier groups in the world. He has his own troupe called Random Dance, and the Sixth sponsored Wayne to come be an artist in residence and come out here to work with Art Power. Art Power actually were very instrumental in the entire process. To come out here and create a new dance. That's the piece we're going to be building the interactive installations for. And they have a marvelously interesting process by which they create a new piece. So we set up video cameras, high definition video cameras all around the Mandeville Auditorium. We caught all this on video. We had 2 cameras in the ceiling. We have interviews with all the dancers. Every day we were interviewing 6 dancers. We had them do funny things as well with a doll that we had. We instrumented one of these dolls and we put pins all over it, and then we would have them, before they did a phrase, we'd tell them, position the doll in what you think are the key frames of the phrase, and then we take snapshots of the doll so we would know how to index, how to find those positions in the video, and then they would go up and dance it, and while they were dancing it, they'd call out the numbers whenever they were in a position. So they originally have done this to say 1, and when they dance this, and then 2, and all those would be pictures that would allow us to find those back in the video. So this, we took one of the dancers in to have the motion captured. There are, about 16 cameras all around her, and she put on a tight suit with lots of light-emitting diodes on it, and then she did a dance. One of her phrases, her dance phrases, which in fact they use in some respect or modified at some point it will appear, I'm sure, in the final product. And here we captured all the elements of the phrases from those diodes originally, and then it was skinned and the body was wrapped around it.